This is the Shoreline Plaza Universal Garden in Boise, Idaho. The plan was to remove the barriers that were preventing people from participating in this garden space. On the left you can see the old garden area. It wasn't very accessible, everything was down on the ground, only a few people could use this garden. But the design on the right makes the garden much more accessible and usable for anyone. Garden design, wants and needs, the 5 P's: purpose, priorities, personal style or theme, plant palette, and price. First, determine the purpose. Is the garden for public or private use? Is the garden's purpose for growing food, education, encouraging pollinators, promoting native species? Is it ornamental? Is it a sensory garden? Etc. What are the priorities? What are the accessibility needs? Does it have to be wheelchair accessible? What are the sensory features that are desired in the garden? For example, would they want wind chimes or a water feature? What are the safety issues? Are there signage needs? What's the plant palette? What are the personal preferences or wishes? Price. What's the budget? Considering all of these factors will help in determining the final plans for the garden. Once the garden is set up for access, the gardener can focus attention on making good plant selections that meet their particular needs. Find out the preferences for the plant palette based on wants and needs. To do this, I want to get the facts. That's the function, attributes, color, type, and smell. What are the preferences? We're going to adapt the plants to the needs of the gardener. What function do they want the plants to serve? What attributes would they like the plants to have? In large planters and raised beds, we would use shorter varieties that are 18 to 30 inches maximum, depending on the sitting or standing gardener's height. We would not want those plants to grow out of reach of the gardener. Taller varieties of tomatoes, for example, should be grown in ground level beds on stakes or in cages that will ultimately present their harvest within reach. What color do you want the plants to be? Do you want bright, bold, or contrasting colors? Do they have a color theme that they're looking for? Those with visual impairment would definitely benefit from bright, bold, and contrasting colors. What type of plants are wanted? The type of plants should be included that utilize a sense of touch, with fuzzy leaves or interesting bark, interesting stems or flowers. And then finally, what about the smell? Are we looking for sweet, spicy, floral, etc.? Garden design, wants and needs, plant palette. Choose the appropriate plants. Do you want low maintenance, drought tolerant? Do you want it to repel unwanted insects? Do you want it to attract insects like butterflies and bees? I have a list of these types of plants in the comments section. A healing garden takes the sensory system into consideration. You want the person to listen, smell, taste, touch, look, rest, and reflect. Here are a few tips. Listen to nature's call. Include a fountain or some kind of water feature or wind chimes to add to the sound. Smell the roses. Add lots of fragrant plants like evergreen or sweet-smelling flowers or herbs. Tempt your taste buds. In addition to sniffing the amazing flowers, add fragrant edibles like crispy pea pods or sweet berries or spicy herbs. Touch the flowers. There are many velvety textured petals and leaves that are wonderful to touch. There are also lots of wispy plants or rough plants. Look at everything. Enjoy the tiny little bugs in the flower. Enjoy the flower's beauty. Enjoy the sky. Enjoy the look of the trees and enjoy the contrasting colors. Then take time to rest and reflect. Within the garden design, add a place to sit or meditate or to reflect. My favorite, sensory gardens. All gardens are sensory spaces. Creating sensational spaces. Gardening for the mind, body, and soul. We want to think about how to create purposeful sensory spaces. Have environmental cues to guide the user. Get plants that provide seasonal interest and help people connect with the cycle of nature. Plant suggestions. I have plants listed here that are good to stimulate sight. Gardeners with some visual impairment can see plants with bright, contrasting colors and textures. Plantings at different heights encourage active looking. Visitors will see details as well as carpets of color. Hearing. Man-made additions like wind chimes and water fountains or a bird bath add to the sounds of the garden. Choose plants that are easily jostled by the breeze and that clap in the wind. A fragrant plant can create a garden of scent. Too many scented plants, however, can drown one another out. Find the right balance. Touch. Textured surfaces like railing or brick on a path can guide visually impaired gardeners. Soft felted or waxy leaves appeal to the sense of touch for others. This is very important. Be sure to ID or separate the edible plants from the toxic plants. Select plants that provide both color and flavor, such as rosemary, garlic, thyme, scallions, chives, onions, and garlic. Alternatively, plant fruit bushes, trees, and vegetables like lettuce, Swiss chard, peas, spinach, arugula. This is the W.E. Carter Sensory Garden in Massachusetts. This is a sensory-packed garden that teaches sensory awareness, planting, watering, and harvesting. The design is arranged around a figure-8 pathway that leads students to a variety of areas. Through tall weaving grasses, you can see, hear, and touch water cascading over an urn. Sniff the scent of seasonal flowers and herbs, and pick berries and vegetables. The fruit patch has strawberry and blueberry bushes, and there is an entire area filled with scents of lavender, lemon balm, and sage. Students can wheel up to a raised flower bed divided into 6 rainbow colors and press a color-associated button that releases a cooling overhead mist of water onto the plants. Students can get refreshed on hot summer days by traveling through 3 interactive water features. Teachers can utilize outdoor classrooms shaded by the vine-covered pergolas. There are raised switches for students to press, which turn on water features that jump across the pathway or bubble up and run down the sides of an urn, or create a gentle mist that drifts down from the open roof of the pergola. In the warm weather, the splash pad also has a jetting fountain, a drive-through tall spraying horseshoe, and a small, gently flowing umbrella, which are also activated by switches and make for summer fun. Vegetables are grown in a raised planter that wheelchairs can get up close to and extend underneath. Students plant, weed, water, and harvest the produce. In the very center of the garden is a silver ball, which spins and provides the seated rider with a 360-degree view of the garden. 3 open-beamed pergolas form the support for flowering vines, which provide shade for outdoor tabletop activities.